Empty Void stole God Garou'S power. This new villain in One Punch Man is literally stronger than Cosmic Fear Garou, the strongest enemy we've seen in all of One Punch Man so far, with the exception of God anyway, but we haven't seen him fight. And in this chapter, Blast goes completely ham, showing us some of his top tier abilities. Dude, look at this thing. He shoots like the freaking Gallic gun at Empty Void. Blast, oh, so much Blast in this chapter. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm very sorry for the chapter review being late, guys. I've been sick as a dog. One thing they don't tell you about having kids is when they go to school, they bring home tons of irises and the parents get all of them. And I've been projectile vomiting for like the last 36 hours. But try my best to get through this video because I loved this darn chapter. We got so much to talk about and we get to see what happens when Blast uses one of his strongest techniques. You would think, I mean, that's not confirmed, but take a look at this thing, man. I mean, I don't know how much stronger Blast can get. That ability just looks ridiculous. And this guy, Empty Void, literally just sliced it in half or into cubes with his Dimension Slash ability. So not only is this guy on par with Blast being able to use dimensional capabilities, but he was also a god avatar that also took Cosmic Fear Garou's power. And this guy is like crazy strong. And this is such a huge jump from the webcomic to the original drawings here of the Ninja Arc to the redrawings of the Ninja Arc. Because I'm just gonna spoil it here if the webcomic stuff, because it doesn't appear that it's gonna happen anymore, but he got one shot off screen by Saitama in the webcomic, and then in the drawings here in the manga, he got punched in the face by Blast and he didn't really seem that strong. But now here in the redraws, this dude is like the new super boss of the manga. And we have a lot to look forward to now because obviously the God Garou fight being one of the best fights in all of One Punch Man, crazy amounts of hype. And it seems like Murata and One were like, let's just do that again. And I couldn't be happier. I literally couldn't be happier with such a powerful opponent. We get to see Blast go all out. And it appears that Saitama will not be joining in this fight at all. He's gonna go eat noodles like udon with Monako. That's basically telling us that unless for some reason Saitama shows up, which I'm really not getting that vibe, this fight that's upcoming will be like a full power Blast versus Empty Void. And we're gonna get to see like all of Blast's capabilities. And that should be extremely, extremely fun. You know I'm gonna go crazy over that stuff, dude. So, a ton to talk about in this chapter. That's coming up right after this. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard of ChatGPT, but have you heard of Video GPT, our sponsor? This program will literally create entire stories for you with just a few words and a few selections. A cartoon squirrel sitting at a dinner table talking about politics with Miley Cyrus.
Various political issues. Getting Miley Cyrus's attention.
Okay.
Miley Cyrus nods in agreement with his points.
This is actually hilarious. Goku fighting King Kong. All right, so now it's writing a script. Goku fighting King Kong in a city. That's pretty cool. It only takes about a minute to render and you get a full story ready to go that you can post on your social medias, whether to try and grow an account or just have fun and make hilarious videos with. And you can even clone your own voice and it will write a script and create an entire short for you. Look at little Saitama. That's so funny. Oh, he's so cute, the little Saitama. I love it. You can download Video GPT absolutely free from the Apple App Store. Link right in my description. And for the cover page, we get Flashy Flash. Beautiful artistic design here by Murata. As always, you can see Sonic there in the glow of his sword. And I just love the way he draws Flashy Flash and just the metal on him. Like, he combines the metal with the cape in such different like textures that just, it makes it look so clean and smooth and sleek. Like, you just can't help but love it. In the beginning of this chapter, we literally go back to the chapter where Saitama time traveled, came back and one-punched Garou out of his Cosmic Fear mode. And we saw that Garou's face start to like explode and like the power of God started to fade from his face. But it turns out that Blast was there the entire time and he was redirecting the cosmic rays using a black hole in the sky. So in order to try and save everyone on Earth from that cosmic radiation that was killing them, he was sucking all of the cosmic rays up into the sky through this black hole. And this is how we know that Blast was able to see Saitama's true strength, because obviously Blast knew that Cosmic Fear Garou was a god avatar, and Saitama just one-punched this guy. I think Blast was thinking like, hey, I'm gonna have to jump in here in a second, but then Saitama just shows up out of nowhere. We know he came from the future, and he took out God Garou in one punch, and look at this shot of Saitama, bro, damn. But this is how Blast, you can see the surprised look on his face, this is how he knows that Saitama probably has no limit. And he just said to Sitch that I kind of have to keep testing him to figure out, you know, what his limit is. And we see that the smoke that is coming out of God Garou's face, this like god energy, is going up into the sky, into this black hole, but outside of the black hole is empty void. And Blast like teleports up at super speed through a black hole to appear right next to this guy who looks like just completely starving and malnourished and horrible at this point. I guess he just came out of the recovery pod. Maybe when he noticed or sensed God Garou's power, he was like, hey, if this guy loses, like I can take his power and recover. And that's what he's doing. He was hiding out in space. And I don't know if he created that black hole himself, but like I thought that was the black hole that Blast created. So how did Empty Void know where to be at the exact right moment in time? But we do know that Blast confirms in this chapter that Empty Void has the same dimensional capabilities that he does, which are the power of God. So Blast essentially confirming here, like in a sense in this chapter, that he has God's power as well. And I have a feeling that like he must have come in contact with a cube and like perhaps was granted the power briefly but was able to fight it off or something like that. We still don't know the full extent to where all of Blast's power come from, but he is saying in this chapter that it is God-related power. So Blast, like in an effort to stop this guy, he shoots out his fist, like gives us little Zarbon from DBZ, you know, holds his hand and shoots out this crazy blast. And I just love the art that's coming up here. Look at this freaking attack from Blast. He's like shooting out this massive black hole Gallic gun thing. Look at the damage of this. This looks like a crazy Dragon Ball Z attack, and just somehow with all the darks on this page, I mean the page is literally like almost pure black, but you can still see so much detail. And this is one of the things I love about Murata that he does best, is his use of contrast. He's just able to take these pages and make them so dark with just a few highlights to make a full image pop out, and it's mesmerizing. So this Blast is coming in to hit Empty Void, and he finishes absorbing God Garou's power, and you can see his body like bulk up, and here you go. This is what he looks like now. This is his new look. He kind of looks like a bird to me. Like it's very different than the last two iterations we got of him. I guess that's because he's fused essentially with Cosmic Fear Garou. So he's like half Cosmic Fear Garou, half Empty Void, which kind of gives him like, I guess, the hair and some of the spikes and stuff like that. But he has bulked up big time, and he uses his Dimension Slash ability to literally just slice apart Blast's attack, which had to be one of the strongest in his arsenal. I mean, he didn't confirm that, but it sure as hell looks like it is. Blast can't believe how strong he's become, taking out Blast's attack like it's nothing, and you get a very clear shot of Empty Void here. Man, he looks crazy. Just the way that he's like waving around his swords with all that god power around him and the sparkles and black holes and everything. It's just intense, man. Just the intensity is crazy. You can feel how strong of a fight this is gonna be, and I'm just so juiced for this. But Blast doesn't let up. He shoots out two fists now. Basically the attack he just did, now he shoots out two of them, and they're both coming in from behind Empty Void. So we know that Blast, like, you know, he has Gravity Knuckle, but that's probably like one of his weaker moves. He can teleport around, but we know that he can shoot out these just incredibly destructive projectiles, seemingly with ease. So we see the Empty Void here, he literally grabs space with his bare hands. And this crazy shot here, like, this is just beautiful and stunning at the same time. I mean, this guy is literally like clawing through space, like he grabbed space and warped it with his bare hands. And just the way Murata draws this, like, what the heck, man, this is insane. And it appears that that was just an ability to disappear. So while Black will go in a black hole, I guess Empty Void kind of like tears space apart with his bare hands and goes through or something, because that wasn't an attack. Although it looks like some sort of claw or something, it wasn't an attack. Empty Void just disappears, and you see Blast wandering out in space, and there is laughing, ha 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 ha. Now, is that Empty Void laughing, or is that God? That's a good question. And as Blast says, with the power he took coming out of Garou, he became that much stronger and revived himself. Flashy Flash asking, is he capable of moving between dimensions like you? And Blast says yes. He's been making preparations while hiding in another dimension. I think he's going to go on the offensive now, but I won't let him get away this time. Flash asks him, how are you planning to win? You called it a dimension slash. What is this? Psychic power? Blast says no, it's one of God's powers. Interference from the higher dimension where God is located ignores distance, energy, and size. Just on a side note, what's pretty interesting about this is that if you're into spirituality at all, there is the belief that people can transport through time and space using their consciousness. And I think Murata is kind of like making a play on this. Some people believe that aliens can travel to Earth by simply projecting their consciousness here. And I think it's kind of similar, but Blast is saying it's not psychic power. So we kind of estimated that like perhaps Blast is part psychic, but it could have something to do with just this God dimensional power that he has. And he says that to what extent it ignores distance, energy, and size depends on the capabilities of the subject. And we get this picture of God again. We've seen this before with all of the crew kind of standing there in silhouette. And essentially what he's saying is the stronger the subject is, the higher their limit, the higher their capabilities, the more of God's power that they can use to manipulate reality and transfer and warp time space. Interestingly, Sitch says, I still don't completely understand this, and Flash says, me either. And then the chapter pretty much goes into the original pages of the manga here with Flash getting his letter from Sonic, and they go out to meet at the place where Childish dreams. And Flash says it's possible that if I go meet Sonic here, Empty Void will come. And Blast says for sure. And like he's like, this will be my chance. Blast literally gives him the Zeno button, like from Dragon Ball Super. You remember when Zeno gave Goku an Omni King button, and if he was ever in trouble, he could just push it and the Omni King would appear, and he used it to take out the evil Zamasu. Literally, Blast is giving Flashy Flash a blast button. Man, I need one of those. So he says if we go together, it might alert Void, so you go ahead first. If he appears, you can send a signal to me using this alarm and I'll fly right in. Now, what's interesting about this is like many times throughout the series when we've seen Blast, nobody pushed an alarm, but he did just show up at the exact right moment. So I thought this was kind of peculiar. Like he showed up to Tatsumaki, to Saitama, and a couple other instances where there was no button pressed, but he just knew to be there at the right time. And for whatever reason, he's giving Flashy Flash this Zeno button to just like, you know, hit him up. And Saitama says, I'm not gonna go. Since Blast is going, I'm sure it will be okay. Me and Minako will go eat some curry udon. So One and Murata are like, we're not gonna have Saitama one punch this guy. We know you guys like Blast. We're gonna show you Blast at full power versus God Empty Void. Like, holy crap, dude, the next few chapters are gonna be out of control insane. I'm so hyped, dude. Like, for me, who's like a crazy Blast fanboy, I couldn't ask for anything more. Initially, I was a little worried about these redraws because I was like, oh man, you're going back, you know, 3 months or something like that, but it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. If we're getting like a new super boss fight like this, a crazy powerful God avatar that's gonna give Blast a challenge, we're gonna get to see like what his ultimate abilities are. I really don't think Saitama's coming in here, so I'm crazy hyped. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Don't forget to download Video GPT with the link in the description, and I will talk to you guys soon for some more One Punch Man.